My fellow Liberians, the conspiracy to stop our real change movement and destroy the collaborating political parties, the CPP, has failed. The political persecution to weaken us has made us stronger. As promised, the CPP will be on the ballot in 2023. We will win the elections and lead our country and people into a better future. For these and many more, we thank God for His blessings and continued protection. We thank the Liberian people for the outpouring of support and prayers, especially over the last 6 months. We thank our partner in the CPP, the Liberty Party, for its continued support, commitment, and trust. It must be said that when it was easier to walk away, the Liberty Party stood with us and next to us every step of the way. Last but not least, the partisans and other leaders of the Alternative National Congress, the ANC, who deserve and have our deepest appreciation for their faithful support and abiding trust. We thank them from the bottom of our hearts. The real aim of the conspiracy against us was to keep us entangled in court with a bogus charge over our heads up to and including the period of the 2023 elections. Obviously, those who are offended by our call for real change in managing our country accountably were weaponizing an eager and co-conspirator prosecution to dishonor and smear our heart and reputation. But truth crushed to earth will rise again. The truth was always on our side, and the truth has prevailed. Hence, after more than 5 months of the political persecution, it became difficult to continue the witch hunt when an independent report forensically exposed the truth and convincingly cleared us of any wrongdoing. It must be said that our persecutors did not want to willingly set us free. They were forced by the truth and lack of evidence after almost 6 months to grudgingly surrender. We thank Omnia and Alaco for their work. You know, it really should not take invitations to international firms to unearth evidential truths in our country. Unfortunately, getting to the truth was never an objective for those whose interest was to politically persecute and smear us. Through it all, we have overcome. Make no mistake, the lies and betrayals were hurtful, especially from people we respect and regard as friends. Individuals we thought we knew well over the course of many years. But our spirit is unbroken. our resolve to continue to fight to change the direction of our country and improve the lives of Liberians is unchanged and undeterred. Now, we must move ahead to continue the work of building the CPP with serious change partners to be the vehicle for real change in our country. As we forge forward, we will leave it to lawyers and historians to debate the unprecedented decision which counters previous decisions of the same High Court to declare a provision in a wholly private agreement as unconstitutional. As leaders, we are obligated to honor the decision of the Honorable Supreme Court, even when we disagree. We therefore wish the Unity Party and the All Liberian Party well in their future endeavors. Regarding the proposed by-elections to fill the Lofa County senatorial seat, we trust that the people of that great county will understand and appreciate the CPP's decision to stand in solidarity with them against the political maneuvers of the Weah administration to overturn the vote of their choice. That choice was a CPP candidate who was elected and denied from being seated. We heard the people of Lofa speak loudly and clearly. We observed how they stood up courageously to challenge the undemocratic denial of their will. We noted how despite the economic hardship, they organized fundraisers at home and abroad, and even brought out the high custodians of the traditional secret societies. For months, we saw the people of Lofa stand up in resistance and manage to prevent the government from overturning the democratic will, until some of their own political leaders decided to break ranks for their selfish political interests. The CPP saw all of these gallant efforts by the people of Lofa County, and we are moved not to participate in the so-called by-elections, because to do so will be to assist the government achieve its aim of robbing the Lofa people of their choice. The CPP decision is final. We will continue to stand with the people of Lofa, even if some of their leaders have now decided to stand against them. My fellow citizens, as people of faith, we believe it was God's will to have us experience our judicial system at work for almost 6 months. Therefore, we make this solemn promise: a Cummings administration will prioritize the reform of the judicial system. Any nation without a credible system of justice is a nation willing itself into lawlessness and conflict. Through the political witch hunt, we also realized that there are many problems to be resolved in our country. There are the vexing problems with the body of our country, the lack of adequate roads, bridges, electricity, and a breakdown in the governance systems. Then there is the problem with the soul of our nation. The absence, especially at the level of national leadership, of courage to do the right things for the right reasons, and of honor, integrity, honesty, and truthfulness. Today, I invite the national leaders of our country, political leaders, religious leaders, traditional leaders, legal and community leaders, all leaders, to be enjoined in the cleansing of our nation's soul. The duty falls on all of us to become better examples, because the peaceful and prosperous future we seek depends on the values we embrace and nurture. Most importantly, our children need us to provide them with better examples, as our society needs us to become leaders of higher standards. This is why, as we focus on moving forward, we will continue to take the high road, and for the good of the country, focus on the future of Liberia and not the attacks and slights of the recent past, even by friends and colleagues. However, we will continue to oppose and disagree with the Weah-led government and even members of the opposition who view public service as a chance to be served, to steal, and to abuse the trust of the Liberian people. The mindset that we should take turns to continue to keep our country corrupt and our people poor is offensive and unacceptable, and the belief that politics is a dirty game where the ends always justify the means have only helped to keep our country backward. It is time to change these mindsets and beliefs. It is time to change these mindsets and beliefs. It is time to change these mindsets and beliefs, because rich as our country is blessed to be, Liberians do not deserve to be so poor. No family needs to go to bed hungry. No child needs to sit on dirt floors or stand under leaking roofs to learn. Public hospitals need to have beds, medicines, and modern equipment so that the best care for the sick is available everywhere in our country. And no one who is working needs to earn a wage that is not enough to minimally feed and care for their families. It is time to change these mindsets and beliefs, because rich as our country is, we do not need to be a beggar nation that is constantly looking for handouts and for others to do for our country what we can and should be doing for ourselves. We do not need to have families grieving repeatedly because of recurring mysterious deaths, murders, and rapes, including of babies. It is time to change these mindsets and beliefs, because we do not need to accept that our streets and communities are to be crime and drug infested. We do not need to accept that public officials can only be partisans and incompetent. And we do not need to resign our country to being considered as among the poorest, most corrupt, and dirtiest in the world. In the face of all of this, some of our critics often accuse us of refusing to stand in some imaginary line of leadership. They believe we should lower our expectations, settle for doing less work, accept cosmetic changes, and agree to continue governance as business as usual. I, Alexander B. Cummings, am running for president to stop business as usual. To stop business as usual. Liberia is bleeding. Liberians are suffering. For example, the recent hike in petroleum prices, which is among the highest in Africa, will only add to the hardship in our country, and this again is due to bad and incompetent management and poor planning. Our country needs help, including international support and investments. But we also need more than a cosmetic change to personnel to get the international trust and support we desperately need. We need bold changes in vision, policy, and leadership. We need the international community to trust us not to steal, just obey our own laws, and manage what we have more accountably and transparently. We need to raise the expectation levels of ourselves, set higher national goals, and work even harder to achieve them. My fellow citizens, the future of our country is not buried in our past. Traveling the same road will never lead us to a new destination. Traveling the same road will never lead us to a new destination. Doing the same things over and over and expecting different results is the definition of insanity. Putting love of party over our love for our country will continue to see our country and our people suffer. To lift our country up and end the suffering of our people, we must change. Change is hard, but continuing as we are doing to ourselves or going backward will only make our problems worse. Finally, my fellow Liberians, growing up in Point 4 and in Fiama, I saw my mother and father struggle to put food on the table, pay the rent, and pay our school fees while helping other families and friends however they could to do the same. I saw my mother rise to be the community midwife, delivering babies and attending sick, pregnant mothers, often into the dead of night. Then during the day, she would push me after school to help her with her small market, which included selling everything from women's dresses, undergarments, other apparels, docafleur, all to help make up for the small salary of my father. The war kept me away from our country, but in that time, God blessed me to learn and work in many other countries, including Nigeria, Kenya, South Africa, Britain, and the United States. The experience convinces me that we can be different than what we are today. We can be different, we can be better than what we are today. I'm convinced of that with all my heart, with all my passion. Many of you continue to hear me say that we are too rich to be so poor. It is really true. Things can be better for all Liberians in our own country. Our children should be able to find jobs upon graduation after the parents sacrifice themselves, some selling like my mother, to send their children to school. Those who are old and retired should not have to become beggars and feel abandoned by the country they serve for many years. They can and should be cared for as respected senior citizens after years of service to our country. Our leaders should really be doing better for our country and our people. And because I see that they are not, this is why I have decided to get involved and to get involved in politics. We must change, not for ourselves, but for Liberian mothers and fathers who continue to do the best they can, sometimes overworked and overburdened by the things they must do just to make ends meet, just to get a better life for their children. To all Liberian mothers, rural and urban, married or single, in you, I see my mother. I see mommy. I know and understand what you have to do to carry your families through every day. I'm running to help to ease the heavy burdens unfairly placed on your shoulders. Unfairly placed on your shoulders. A Cummings administration will change many things to make life better for Liberians. Regardless of tribe, gender, religion, political party affiliation, Liberians will be prioritized for success in Liberia. Success in business. You know, I talk about growing the private sector. That's why I say Liberians have to be prioritized for success in business. But also success in sports, in music, and other forms of artistry. In every facet of life, Liberians will be and must be prioritized. If we cannot guarantee success to Liberians here in Liberia, we do not deserve to be called a Liberian nation. Today, we renew our promise to Liberians everywhere. We will do the hard work required for success in 2023. We will win the elections, and we will not let our people down. Liberia deserves better. Liberians deserve better. Liberia deserves better. Liberians deserve better. To you, I make this pledge that working together, working hard, and making the sacrifices, we can and will change our country for the benefit of every Liberian. God bless you. God bless Liberia. I thank you.
Thank you very much. Sir,
Lofa City Council.
ANC political leader, Alexander Cummings.